Heck yeah. BB? Good morning, guys. Let's get this day started with some bacon chips and a cup of coffee. BB's Adventures. Let's begin. Basically, all I did was just cut these into 4 pieces and I put them in the pot so it doesn't spit. You don't have to have it on high, you can leave it on low. And that's it. And that becomes chips to munch on. And if you want to, guys, you can put a lid on it as well. Cook them to your liking. And then you spoon them out. And just remember, it's still cooking, even though you're taking it out. That's sizzling. So you ever notice that sometimes you get them real crunchy, but they look so good when they came out? It's because they're still cooking, even though they're sitting on this plate. And that's basically it. We just leave this on the table, and we'll munch on this to get us through the morning. All right, good morning, everybody.
Tomato plant's so big I couldn't see the blossoms.
Seriously?
Yeah, because they're hiding underneath the leaf. So,
Well, hopefully you guys have a good breakfast. Today we are just going to be putting some bricks that my parents have left over. And we're going to make, instead of having this big circle, we're going to make a decent circle so that we know where these plants here, these tomato plants were accidentally grown because of BB's compound that she made, that we made over there. We put it here, and the tomatoes turned, the seeds in there turned into tomatoes. It's going to be a light day. We'll probably do this side. I still have to get all those bricks out of there and move them over on a pallet. And then we're going to do the front. She is cutting the... What are you cutting here?
these are the zinnias that have died back to save the seeds for later.
She reuses the seeds. And then we don't have to buy nothing. And next year,
or even this fall, they'll come right back.
She'll
Luckily with Florida, they'll come right back all year long unless we get a really hard freeze.
So basically that's what she's doing, is just recycling the seeds. A lot of these came out amazing. I mean, this is the best year that we've had so far with these flowers. And then look at this one here.
Moss, those are called moss roses.
And then I'll take you on the inside of that big shed, because that's where the riding lawnmower is going back. Riding lawnmower is going to go back in there because I need room in here, because I'm going to have to start putting the grill in here. And you see that little mole freaking thing raised the floor up. That's one thing. And then I have to replace this centerpiece here with this piece. But I want to be able to bring my Blackstone griddle in here, because it seems with the cover on, I think I've mentioned it before, it's getting a little bit of moisture underneath it. I don't like that. In here I don't have to cover it, and it won't get the moisture on it. Then of course we're going to straighten this up a little bit. We got some wood that's left over from when my parents tore down their shed because of the hurricane, and then so make some more shelves. But that's all. Every day for the next 2 weeks we're going to come out here for a couple hours. Like I said, do the stones here, possibly do the stones in the front of the tree, the magnolia tree. And then the next day weed eat, and then the next day try to get to the grass cutting, because even though it rained, and it has not stopped raining, but even what rain we got, it did give us some grass and some higher spots. This is her Florida milkweed garden. It's coming along great. So, you know, everything is like I said, is coming to plan. The papaya is fruitionary, and I'll show you that avocado. So you get some areas here because of the rain, and this is where our septic is. You see how it's really grown. But if you've seen in past videos, a lot of this was just dirt we were cutting, literally. But I do want to show you the upside down banana tree that she's not gonna make it, but that's the bananas right there. Somehow that grew upside down. And then again, this avocado tree. That's her potatoes. But you can see the avocado tree out of hundreds. I mean, we had a few that survived. And I think there was another one, yep, over here. And that's the big ones. And I know there's a few up there, but this had hundreds, and then the wind, and then all of a sudden the birds. But all this patio stuff, all that stuff I gotta get rid of for my parents, and they put the new fence up here as well. So pretty active day today, guys. But yeah, it's a shame that thing had hundreds of avocados between the wind. I want to say the wind 80% knocked it all down, and then the other 10% were the birds. And then of course, who knows, there might be 7 or 5 that survive. But that wouldn't happen in Puerto Rico. In Puerto Rico, boy, them suckers survive. All right, let's get moving on this patio stuff here. And she's not gonna fence this part. That way she can access through here watering the bananas, because some of this is on her side of the property. And that's access for the lawnmower down there. But everything is done as far as the fencing goes, the shed, and then she got to put everything back in the shed. So it's basically just getting stuff ready. That's what it's basically. Smile. That's what basically we're going to dig it in just a little bit. That way it's easier to weed eat around here. So that's what we're doing. So far I've only counted 2 avocados. Only 2 avocados, man. Like I said, you won't know until the tippity top, until they start getting bigger, but it's crazy. There's so many of these patio bricks, and that's the other thing, is like, we don't want to run out, because then it goes into different sizes. All right, she's got the back done. That looks pretty good. All right, she's on the front right now. That wheelbarrow. I think we spent $100 for it at Ace Hardware. Gorilla carts. That's amazing. Smile. Get you in these awkward positions. Now we're gonna do the front. Just be careful for that bird nest, because
She's not in there.
that's the Florida
Mockingbird.
Yeah. All right, let me dig some more up. I found some more. Let me know, then I'll pack it up and we'll get it. But this is the magnolia tree. She grew, boy. She grew. Thrown a lot of buds this year.
She did. She had quite a bit this year.
And then we put our welcome sign up that we bought from Cracker Barrel. And here I'm going to put a light over Mary so it shines down. But We're keeping this definitely like this, as clean as possible. I've been pulling all the bricks they had here when they had the shed, if you've seen it during the hurricane season, what it looked like, and then after. And that, when the floor comes down, that whole thing drops down. I gotta get some bricks there. And then they gotta put a guardrail through here. All this had bricks, or whatever, those patio. And that's the rest of the tree. Got it anchored down. And they raised it up so that it doesn't flood. Probably gonna have to get the till and till this dirt and get it flat, because we want this water all to run out of here. Because that's what happened when the tree fell down, is all this filled up and then the shed's flooded. But I cleaned all of this, and that's all the bricks we got there so far. Once we go through the ones that we want, then I'm gonna put all those on a pallet and stuff. So we're gonna continue to work. And that's basically what I'm doing, is I'm getting the bricks, throwing them in here, and then pulling them along the way. So where we're not killing our backs, guys. Make sure you drink a lot of water, wear your hats, appropriate clothing, the breather shirts. But these are some of the ones, patios, that we're gonna use, like that size there for the front. See, because I said this is where the shed was, so there were some bricks or patio things left. Then the ones I can't get, I just leave in there for the foundation, because like I said, that water has to flow. Heck yeah. BB? What? Trying to get some screenshot. Alright, finish that. I'm gonna say I'm almost finished back there. It's not that much left, and then I'll see about that door. If not, we'll do the door tomorrow, because the sun is coming up. It is getting hot. Yeah. This is the type of work that you gotta definitely pace yourself. So the next 2 weeks we really have nothing much to do. So you gotta pace yourself, especially when you're doing bricks and you're not used to doing stuff like this or walking. You know, you can have a heart attack. But pace yourself, guys. Do we need more? Two more, okay. I'm gonna have to go underneath there and get it. All right, this is a 10 feet by 20 feet. I think she said she's gonna put a motor in here. I know she's trying to get electric out here to put in air condition. But those rubber things, it's almost like a tiny home, guys. And that's what you're looking at here. It's literally like a tiny home. It's cool in here, I'll say that much. I think that's the window things there, but it does have an upstairs, so you can put stuff on either side. And like I said, if I'm not mistaken, this is 10 by 20.
It is.
Yeah, I gotta go underneath there and get two more.
I just need one more.
Okay, I still gotta go underneath it. And like I said, it has the top up here. Try to get as best as I can on either side for storage. Only thing is, like, you would have to put make a ladder, or get a ladder. When you get a certain age, things change in life, guys, so always look forward. But I mean, you got the windows, you can always keep the windows open, closed. But like I said, this is literally like a tiny home. You could probably have the kitchen over here with a little living room, the bedroom, and maybe the corner, like a little porta potty kind of corner. You don't really need that much. And if you really don't care about a sink in the bathroom, I mean, you can always use the sink in the kitchen. But you know, you could probably put a kitchen in front of one window. Nice little kitchen with a mini stove thing. And you could probably put a washer and dryer if you really don't care that much about the living room space. And you would still have a nice area here. And even if you wanted to, you could put a ladder here and have that top area as your bedroom and have the other side as your storage. So there's room here. I think she paid about $4,000, I'm not mistaken. Woo! Where the hell that lizard go? Hope it didn't go up my shorts. Okay, I don't see him. That's a frog that died, that son of a bitch. I don't know if he went up my shorts or what. I'm fucking scared. Anyway, this will make a great tiny home, guys. Great, like I said, I think she's gonna try to put air conditioning. The problem that we're having here is just that right there. It's gotta rest on some patio blocks. I mean, it's on the ground there, but she feels safer that if it goes on the patio blocks. And then this comes out. That's the extra ramp, and that's that cheap particle. And that's what you're looking at. Basically, we're trying to make that where it's foldable stronger. I'm gonna put those going across real quick. And then get the big lawnmower in here.
Never mind, I got it.
Okay. And that basically tells you the hurricane, it can stand up to 160 miles an hour. A blue flood zone, nope, not good for flood zone. But she has it anchored. She has it anchored down. I mean, that might be too high because it did bring up when I put the door down, it brings that up. So I might have to just leave it on the ground. Yeah, I might have to just leave it on the ground. Look, this just shows you, I mean, look at the Junkie Craftsman. How straight it is, it bows, and then look at all these coiled. Jesus. I will say this much, that door is heavy to pull down. Don't let it fool you. But that's what you're looking at. And that looks stupid. So I'm just gonna have to let it hit the ground. Because that looks stupid. But I promise you, like, I'm 58, and that door got a tug on it. My father's 93. Ain't no way he's pulling that door down. I don't care how many springs are on there. But like I said, I don't know if they were gonna get an electric one or what, but anyone who's thinking about buying this when you're older, just remember that door. I mean, without the spring, that's dead weight. But with the spring, it's still a little heavy. All right, this is without. God damn, this bitch is heavy. This is without the bricks. And that's just the way it's just gonna have to be. Because, yeah, it's gonna have to be like that. Oh, I'm pooped. There she sits, guys. My mother has a ton of stuff that's got to come in here. Trust me, I can make a U-turn in here with that, but that's what it's gonna have to be without the brick there. But that door is freaking heavy, man. Something happened here. All right, that's for another day. That is definitely for another day. All right, BB. It's getting that time.
Yeah, I know.
She weeded all that. All that was... Yeah, it's getting that time, dude. I turned the air on. Give me another smile, my little garden queen. Yeah. Whew.
You're not putting your grill in there anytime soon.
I can fit it. I moved it over on the other side, the barrel. I got room in there. But it's not gonna rain. It's not like it's not gonna rain, but Woo. It's that time of the day. I gotta see what time it is. All right, 11:35. What time did we come out here? I don't even know.
8:30.
8:30? Okay. Ooh, there's an ant on your leg. On your right thigh. But,
Alright, that's good.
yeah. So I said, guys, time yourself. If you're moving to Florida, if you're new to Florida, don't overdo it. Young or old, it doesn't matter. Maybe younger, you can go an extra hour or two. That's fine. But make sure you're always drinking water. And especially if you're working in the sun, get either late evenings like 6 or 7, possibly 7, because it doesn't get dark till like 9 or 10. But
Thank God for small miracles.
But pace yourself, guys. Just pace yourself if you decide you want to live here, because it's not just the heat. It's like today's heat. There's no humidity, but if there was humidity today, boy, we might be calling it a day. But
I'm calling it a day now.
like my hands are getting a little bit weak and shaky, so that tells me I'm using my limits. So know your limits. If you live up north, I know the weather's been like 60s and 70s. Get out there and do it. But I mean, when you own a house versus when you live, two different things. A lot of people that bought from the COVID, we were told, are selling their houses because they're like, I guess that you call like forever home. Like, I don't know how many times you've lived in different houses after you've left, BB, but in Jersey, I think I've only moved to 5 places, which was when I was young. I went to a trailer park, and then my next place was a apartment. That was in Jersey. Then I moved to South Jersey, to Toms River. I went to an apartment. Then I went to I think it was Forked River. No, Lanoka Harbor. I rented a house. And then my last house before I moved to Florida was in Forked River. So 5 places I moved.
Hey!
And then ever since I've been in Florida, I've only moved to 2 places, which was the first place I moved in '94, and then this house right here, which both houses I had owned. And I'm not a mover. Same thing when I go to work. I'm not a jumping, hopping. I get somewhere, I move somewhere. I try to make it my forever place. And when you're making something your forever place, you got to keep up with it. And that came out nice, baby. That came out amazing.
Good.
Yes. That came out amazing. Be very easy to weed around and stuff. But how many places have you guys moved to since your first move out of the house? Maybe some of you still living at home with mommy. But yeah, that door. Oh, there's BB in the shade by our stools. This papaya tree is going to be, possibly looks like there's some flowers there. It's looking good. There's a little shade spot here.
Yeah.
Oh. Woo.
It's shady for a little while anyway.
Yeah, we did it. Oh, we didn't put the stick behind Mary, but we'll walk the stick up there because the front door is unlocked. And then we can go into the front door just to get an idea. We'll leave the stick there just to...
Okay.
I seen you had a stick there with the light on it, but...
Yeah.
Whew, guys.
Hot.
It's crazy.
Ooh.
But like I was saying, a lot of people are selling, and it's just not in Florida, but they're showing that a lot of people that have purchased, especially the younger people, that they're getting out of their house. You know, it could be because of interest rates, it could be because of a lot of things, but the point is, it's not like back in the days, in the 70s and the 60s, even in the 1800s, you know, you build a house, that's where you're there forever.
Pretty much, yeah.
With your kids, and then they build a house on the lot or they move on, you know what I mean? 1800s, they had so much property, but the point that I'm saying is that, you know, in the 70s, your kids would move on and buy a house, and then that would be there forever, raise your kids
Yeah.
and everything. But, you know, but the newer generation, they're not like that. They're just getting into the houses now, and then they're staying in there for a few years, and then they're getting rid of them and moving. And it's wild, especially in the market now. Because right now, even if I sell my house, I couldn't buy a house the same size with the same lot. I'd be buying a tool shed.
Yeah, you would be.
On a driveway. Well, this is what we did today, Sunday. So, I got the air on. We're going to relax. Thank you guys for joining us. Hope you enjoyed today's video as we mix it up. And this way we get this property cleaned up. Tend to more traveling to different places in Florida. And hopefully beyond.
See ya.